Hello guys, it's Kene once again. Today I will be discussing Excel. I'm going to start at beginner's level. Okay, so I would at this point just share the scheme. There will be other lessons, I will be progressing from beginners stage to more advanced stuff in a series of videos. Right, so I have here what we shall be looking at in today's video. From the beginning, how do you open Excel? And also, how do you, or what are those tabs and bars that constitute the ribbon in Excel? And after that, we shall look at the rows and columns and cells, not actually doing much with all those different things in Excel, just introductory stuff, okay? Then we'll come down to um, using the worksheet, doing stuff with the worksheet, as we'll see from this point, from 3C down. Okay, so, this is just an introductory um, course at this point. Okay, so guys, I would share my screen and we'll jump right into it. Okay, I have my screen showing, but Excel isn't open. So how do I get Excel started? I'm going to do that in 3 ways. All right, guys, in 3 ways. Now, the first is that I go to the start icon, this start icon at the bottom left of the computer, bottom left corner of the computer, and click on the start icon. Just click on it. If you have Excel installed, you find it there. And if you haven't Excel, then I think you can get it from, Microsoft Store. Yeah. So here, I'll scroll down and you see Excel there. Just click on it. Click on Excel. It brings up this box. And from this, you can just pick by clicking blank workbook. That's what we're going to use for the lesson today. So blank workbook and Excel is available for use. Okay, so that's the first way. I've closed that. Just click the X icon. The other way is to search the computer. Perhaps you don't know where it is and you have this input, search input at the bottom left corner, just after the start icon. I can also search Excel. The thing is, once you start typing, it tries to guess what it is you're looking for. So EXE brings up Excel, and I can just click on Excel and then blank workbook. So those are the 2 ways. Now, the third way is, which I'm not going to use at this point. The third way is checking. So first, you need to make sure that you have the Excel shortcut on your desktop. So that's another way. So you can pin, I can pin my Excel app to my desktop for easy access. It all depends on you. So, but these are the different ways of getting Excel up and running. Right, so I have Excel open. Okay, guys, my Excel is open. I'll just move this to this side. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to discuss the ribbon in Excel. The ribbon, I would say, is just the long strip at the top of the Excel app that contains the ribbon tabs and the ribbon bar, and then also the formula bar. So here, file, home, insert, page layout, those are the tabs, the ribbon tabs. And a ribbon tab is like a superstructure for different groups of commands that are similar in function. So I have the home tab here, and under the home tab, I have the clipboard bar, which has to do with anything, cutting, pasting, and also pasting styles using the painter. Okay, that's for the clipboard. And then for the fonts, you could change font color, font size. You could change the boldness. Could change um you could make it underlined or not underlined. You can italicize the content or not. So that's all under the font. Then for alignment, still under the home. So you see that to check, just to be sure what tab you are working under, you find a thicker line, just a thick line beneath the inscription or the label there. So I'm working in home tab, and that's why I have this green underline. If I move to insert, right, it comes there. So you see the green underline there with a whiter background. It's still kind of gray, but it's much lighter. So that tells me that I am working on the insert. So these are the different things for insert. I can insert maps, I can insert tables, I can insert charts, I can insert text. It all depends, what you want to insert. So that all comes under insert. Then for the page layout, you can set your margins, you can set the size of your print area, you can everything about the layout, the scale, the height of the cells, the width of the cells, and all. So everything about the outline of your document. All right. Then the formula bar, everything about formulas. Okay. So it also keeps track of formulas that you have used under recently used. Everything, guys, about formula. We'll come to all these, in subsequent videos. Right. But so that's not what I want us to look at here. I just wanted us to understand that there are tabs, ribbon tabs, and ribbon bars. Then the formula bar. Guys, see, let's look at some. I can type, just click on a cell, any part there. I'll come to what cells are. And you see that it shows up in this input area. Okay, so I can even delete from there and still type. Now, this is the formula input, right? So I can, if I choose to use a formula, I can type in the formula there in that input area. The same thing, it's almost as good as typing within a cell. And what is this? Where I have D3, the input area there. Guys, it's the address, or what you call the name box, that holds the location or address of a cell. So if I have the active cell as the first one, very first cell, if you look at the top there, you find A, and then on the other side, just below, we have 1. So that's A1. So this cell is located at A1. That's how you know what cell you are working in. If I move that, I click on some other place, you see that the address of the cell changes. So it's now E6, the name box. That's it, guys. Right. So let's come to understanding the worksheets. Understanding the worksheets. What does this entail? The rows, the columns, and the cells, right? So what are the rows? What are rows in Excel? These vertical segments of this grid. And the rows are numbered. So I have 1, 2, 3 vertically descending, right? So I think in Excel, there are about 1,048,576 rows. Let's be sure. So I'll go to the first cell there, A1, and hold down Control and the down arrow key. Click on down arrow key. So that brings me to the end of it, 1,048,576. So to go back up, I'll just have Control and up arrow key. So that brings me back to the first cell. Okay, so they're about 1 million. Yeah. Then what about the colons? Now the colons are lettered. You get to the end of the alphabet there, say Z, get to Z, and you notice that it goes back to double A. It goes to double A after A. I mean, after Z, we are at double A. So that's how it continues. Let's know what the last colon is. I'll just have control and the right pointing arrow, right arrow key, XFD. That's about 16,384 columns in Excel. So those are what you call the rows and the columns. Now, what about the cell? The cell is that point of intersection, where the row and the column meet. So row 1 and column A meet at this point. That's the A1 cell. Remember the name box for that cell, the name for that cell, A1, and you can find it in the name box, A1. So that's the cell. And the cell provides the means by which you can input data. So I can just type within a cell and come down. If I don't want to use the mouse, by clicking, I can also just use the up, down, side arrow keys. Okay, that takes me to the cell that I want to make use of. Okay, so that's for rows, columns, and cells. What about the workbook? How do I know the name of a workbook? It's right there staring at you. Just go to the top of the Excel app. You find book 1. That's the name of this workbook. The workbook is it's the app at that point that you are using, or a version of that app. Let me not say version, but just the document when it is open, the Excel document when it is open. That's the workbook. And the workbook will be comprised, or is comprised of one or more sheets, what we call sheets. We'll come to sheets, guys, but let's understand what the workbook is. So this is the name of the workbook, just at the very top of my Excel sheet, book 1 Excel. Do you understand, guys? Right. So that's how you get the name of the workbook. Now, what if I want to change the name? What if I want to change the name of the workbook? Oh, great. That's great. I can do that by saving. Just save the document and you get the chance to name it. So this is the default name once it is open, book 1. I can just do control, hold down control and S, control S. So it brings up the save this file box. I want it not on OneDrive, but in on my local machine. So I will click. So let me just go back so we understand what I just did. Save. And I can name it here, guys. I can say testing file, right? Just testing file. And I wish to save it in, so I'm not going to click save. Clicking save at this point means it will be saved in OneDrive, but I want it on my local machine. So I'll click on more options and I want it on desktop. So that's desktop, testing file. Then I can click save. So that's saved. It closes it. But when I go to, so I can see testing file there, right? So just double click on it. That's the first method of reopening an already existing file. So I'm not opening a totally new workbook. I'm opening a new file. I mean, I'm opening a pre-existing file. Just double click. That's the first method. Or just hover over it and right click, and then I can just click on open, whichever method you wish to use. So that's it. So if you look at the name now, it is testing file, no longer book 1. So that's how you name your sheet. Okay, I mean your workbook. rather. Guys, so the next thing now is, how do I open new workbooks? How do I open when I have a workbook already activated, already open? How do I open new one? Because I mean, who says you you can have only one workbook at a time? No, you can have several workbooks. So what I can do to open a new workbook is just hitting Control O. That will bring up um, the box, the pop-up from where I can now pick new. So let me just do that. Control O. So I have this, and I can hit the new. So once I pick new, it brings up the option of blank workbook, which is what I need here, guys. So I'll click on new workbook. So you see, the first time it was book one, but I changed it to testing file. But now the new workbook is named book one. So any unnamed workbook that is, just opened will have the name book one. And after that, if I open another one, it will just become book two. So that's how it is named automatically. Right. So what other means can I open an Excel workbook? Great. I have done the Control O, and that seems a little, too tedious. Why don't I just do Control N? So just click on any part of the Excel file and just hit Control N. We see book two is open. This is a new one, guys. No, book one was open, and then I have just opened book two. That's it, using Control N. Now, if I don't want to use the keyboard shortcut, I can just come to file and then just come here. We've seen this before, new. So file, under file, you find new. Click on new, blank workbook, and this also opens up a new workbook. So I have so many workbooks open now, right? So what I need to do now is delete all but one of the workbooks. So the one I want to delete, just click on it anywhere on it and do Control W. Control W. So book three goes off. I'll still do Control W for book two. So we see that it goes off. Control W, that goes off. And then for book one, well, I don't want to do Control W. I just need to move my cursor, my mouse to that point where there is X, and then just close it. Just close, hit close, and that goes off. Right. So that's it, guys, about opening and closing workbooks. Okay. All right. Now, what if I open a workbook? Guys, remember, I'm able to just close it. That is, delete it from the system when I haven't typed in any data. But if I have data typed, if I do Control W, it just closes it. It doesn't actually delete it from my system, right? Okay, so let's see. Let me just open another one. Control N. If I close this now, if I delete, it goes off completely, right? Because nothing has been typed into it. But what if I have data? So Control N again, and I just put gibberish, and I do Control W. So it will prompt me to save. That's the difference, guys. It will prompt me to save. Now, if I know that I don't need this document ever, I can just do don't save. And so it closes it and deletes it from my system. But if I want it, saved, it's just simply going to close it, but saves it on my machine or wherever it is I specify. I can just do save and pick the location. But in this case, I just want to do, just discard it. Don't save. Throw it out, whatever. But if I just realized that I forgot to do something on the document. So I don't want it discarded and I don't want to save yet. I can just click on cancel. Okay, that brings me back to that document. But what I want to do now is just discard it. So Control W and don't save. So just close and get it off my machine. Okay, so that's it, guys, about opening and closing the workbook. What I want us to look at now is finding the worksheet. That's the next thing, guys. So that's for B I. Finding find the sheet in workbook. How do I find the sheet? No, the question now is, what's the worksheet? Guys, the workbook is like a collection of worksheets. So the file itself is the workbook, but I have different grids. Okay, so different um work areas at any particular time. So think of a book as the book and the different pages as the sheets. So I have sheet one here. A workbook should have at least one sheet, right? So it's automatically named sheet one. So that's if you want to know, if you want to find the sheets, they are labeled that, like tabs for all the sheets you can find at the bottom of that file of the workbook. So right now I have just sheet one. Okay, I can just create another sheet by clicking on this plus sign. So you see new sheet. It gives us a new sheet. So sheet two. And once you open a sheet, the active sheet becomes just um, the recently opened one. So sheet two is the current active sheet here now. Okay. So that's how you can actually find the sheet. And how do you know um, current, the active sheet? The active sheet is the one with the white background. So you see, this has the normal gray background, the non-active sheets. So sheet one is non-active, sheet two is active. That's why it is white. And for my system here, it has the green font color, right? That's for sheet two. So if I wish to switch again to sheet one, I will just click once on sheet one, and that brings me. So I can navigate, the sheets just by clicking on the sheet tabs. That's what I'm saying. So you can find your sheets right here. Okay. So guys, what's the next thing? How do I create and delete worksheet, which I've already, shown us a simple way of adding a new worksheet. Just hit the plus button. Let me hit that again. A new sheet is created. Sheet 3. But now the question is, these are there are names for sheets that I would say the names are not really descriptive, right? I need something more descriptive. So how do I change the name of a sheet? I don't need to close. So thankfully, I don't need to close the workbook. All I need to do is now two ways, guys. Renaming the sheet. Let's see. CII. Now remember, this is the point where we are. I'm going to go back to deleting the worksheet, but I just wanted to show us something. So renaming the worksheet. So just double click on a worksheet tab. Double click on it. So you see that it's now editable. By double clicking, it becomes editable. Then I can now say names. That's the new name, the name for this worksheet, and hit enter. So that's it. I've changed the name of that worksheet. And for worksheet 2, I can say, should I say schools? So this sheet should hold names of schools and enter. So that's how you rename a worksheet. Okay, that's the first method. Now, for sheet 2, I'm going to rename using another method. So I'll come to sheet 2, right click sheet 2, and you find rename. So just click on rename. It makes it editable. The sheet tab editable. I can now say countries, just like that, and enter. Okay, so yeah, guys. Also, by right clicking, you can also insert a new worksheet. So I can just right click on any of the worksheets, then click insert. You have the pop-up there, and it automatically selects worksheets. So that's what I need at this point. I need a new worksheet. Click OK, and we see that a new worksheet, the fourth one, gets added, right? So I can move my worksheet just by dragging. You click down on it and then you drag. So I can now call these states or whatever, just anything. So that's how you also insert or add a new worksheet, right? So guys, the next thing now is to delete a worksheet. How do I do that? Coming back to CI, how do I do that? There are, you know, um, there's just this way. I'm going to right click and I find delete. Just hit the delete and it goes off. The same for this. Okay, before I delete the countries, I can go from one sheet to the other. I can see the different sheets on my in my workbook at any particular time. Guys, by right clicking now, go to the right side of the document at the bottom. You find this right arrow key, this right arrow, and just right click on it. Right click on it, and we see the different sheets available in my workbook. Okay, right. So I'm just going to delete countries. Right click, delete, and I'm just going to leave schools here. So that's it, guys. The next thing is to talk about hide and unhiding. Hiding and unhiding in quotes here. To hide and unhide the worksheets. Sometimes you may wish to make a worksheet invisible. So how do I do that? Let's say I want schools made invisible. I'll just come to the tab, the schools tab. So that's even the active sheet actually. I'll come to schools tab, right click, and you can see the hide option there. Just click on hide and schools becomes invisible. If I wish to make it appear, I'll just click on any tab. So in this case, I have just the names tab. So right click on it, right click on names, and you find on hide. If I click on hide, it will prompt me to choose which sheet I want to unhide. So in this case, I have hidden just one sheet. So I would just click. So if they were like different sheets, I will pick the one that I wish to unhide. So, okay. Let me create another sheet, fine, and I'll hide the two of them. Hide sheet 5 and hide schools. Hide schools. Then what do I do now? I want to unhide. So click on schools, and guys, you will be wondering, so what did I do there? I can just unhide only schools or unhide only sheet 5 just by clicking on the particular sheet and then clicking OK. But I can select multiple sheets by holding down Control. So I pick schools and then hold down Control key and then click on any other sheet that you wish to. So as many sheets as possible, just make sure you're holding down Control key and then picking by clicking the sheets that you want to unhide and then click OK. So those sheets become visible once more. All right, so that's for hiding and unhiding. Now, is there any other way of doing this same thing? Life is about options. Are there other ways of doing the same? Yeah, sure, there are. So I can hide and unhide sheets by going to the Home tab. So it's already active there, the Home tab, and then come down to, guys, please, it's important that we listen. Come down to cells. You find format here. Cells, the cells bar. So you find the arrow there pointing down. Click on the arrow, and you have these different categories of commands. So I have, so that's this another way of renaming your sheet if you don't want to go to the sheet tab at the bottom. So I can simply rename this particular sheet, the active sheet here, rename it. And then I can also, yeah, just I'll come to tab color anyway. That's not really important. What I want to do is just hide and unhide the sheet. So I'm working on sheet. I'm working on schools, the schools sheet. Remember, the active sheet has a white background with gray font, with green font. So I'll come there and then come to hide sheet. Hide sheet. So schools is hidden. Do you understand? And then if I wish to unhide schools, make it show, basically, I'll come back. So go to home on any other sheet, go to home, click format, and then also click on hide sheet. This time on hide sheet. It will prompt you to select the sheet that you want to unhide. So just schools, only schools is the hidden sheet. So I'll just click OK and schools reappear. Okay, so I hope you understand that, guys. Now there's this thing that I don't consider, very important, and that's giving a sheet tab a distinguishing or distinct color. So just click on, say, let me say names, for example. I want to give it its own background color. Right click on names. Right click on names, and then you can now pick tab color, and let's say red. So you see, it becomes red. So if I, for any reason, want to do color differentiation, that can work out. But let me just change it back to the default. So go to tab color and hit no color. It goes back to the default. Right. So that's it, guys, for hiding and unhiding worksheets. What about moving the sheets? So I have sheet 5. I think, yeah, I've talked about it. Yeah, I talked about it at some point in the video. You can just, guys, I want schools to come after sheet 5. Look at this point, schools. Just pick schools. Sorry, I want sheet 5 to come before school. So the last one there, pick sheet 5 and drop it. So you see that sheet 5 is now in front. And then I can also say, okay, I need to take sheet 5 to the front of names. Just move it once. But I don't really fancy this method. So I can do this by some other means. So how do I do it? It's very, very simple, guys. What I can do at this point is to right click. So see, watch, guys. I want sheet 5 to be the last of the sheets. So go to sheet 5, make sure it's selected, and right click. So you see move or copy. The move or copy option there. Just click on it. So we are in workbook testing file. That's why what you have here. So I want the sheet to remain in workbook called testing file. But I need it to, now you see what it says here, before sheet. I want it to come immediately after names. So I will say, okay, sheet 5, I want it to come I want you to follow instead of coming before. Now I want you to follow names. So I'll click on names. So sheet 5, which is the active sheet, will now appear after the sheet called names. So click OK. Now create a copy. No, I don't want any copy. Just move it. So OK. So you see that names has now come, after sheet 5. Now, what if I want schools to come before sheet 5? I want to move schools to the position before sheet 5. Right click on sheet 5. So make sure sheet 5 is selected, for example, and then right click on it. Then come down to, go up to move. Now click on move. What I want now is that sheet 5 should be the very last sheet. Okay. So I will say move to end. Still within the same workbook, move to end. Sheet 5 will be placed after schools as the end sheet there. So move to end and okay. So we see that sheet 5 gets moved to the last position. So that's how you move your worksheets. Right click, move or copy. And now I want it at the beginning. I want sheet 5 at the beginning, that is before names. So you see here, before sheet names. So names is already selected as the default. Click OK. And sheet 5 is placed in front of names. So that's it. Great, guys. Now, what about viewing the sheets? Not just moving now. I want something more. How do I view the sheets? There are different ways. You can see here, that is CV, sub V. So sheet tab, go to hyperlink. These are different ways of changing the view, in essence, which sheet becomes the active sheet. How do I change it? So, guys, the first way, using the sheet tab, just click on it. If I click on names, it becomes the active sheet. Click on schools becomes, so once the background becomes white, that means that's the active sheet. Okay, so I can click on names again and on sheet 5. So I can just change the view. You can see, to make it clearer, let me type something there. So this is sheet 5. This here names, and this is schools. Okay, so I want names. Just click on the tab names. It takes me to names. I can see names now, you see? And sheet 5, click on sheet 5, you can see sheet 5. So that's how you change the view. The other method, guys, is to click on this right pointing arrow right here at the bottom left of that file, bottom left corner of the file. Click on this right pointing arrow. Sorry, guys, right click on it, and it brings up these options. These options, then you can pick the sheet that you want to view. So I can take schools. I want to see schools now as the active sheet. Pick schools and okay, it takes me to schools. So I'll take it again. Just come to the right pointing arrow, right click, and I want to go to names. So pick names and okay. That takes me to the names sheet. So that's how you can move shift the view of the sheet. Another way is to use the go to. So how do we do that, guys? There's a dialog box, I should say, that will get popped up on the screen. And I can get that by using the keyboard shortcut, which is Control G. Oh, sorry. I was actually in Notepad++. So just make sure, click on the Excel file. Then do Control G. It brings the go-to dialog box. So you see the go-to. Now what I want to do here, guys, what's the active sheet now? Names, because that's the one that has the white background. So I want to go to maybe schools. Yeah, I want to go to schools. I'll just provide the reference. And this is how you provide the reference. The name of the sheet, schools. Okay, schools. And I need to specify the cell or range. The cell or the range. We'll come to range much later. But it's just one or a collection, one cell or a group of cells. That's what you call a range. Okay, so just need a I just need a cell, just one cell. So what I will do here, guys, is provide or put an exclamation mark after the name of the sheet. Oh, sorry. I mean, yeah, in names, so I want to move to schools. So exclamation mark and just provide the cell reference. That is the address of that cell. Remember cell address, the letter before the number. So that is the colon letter and the row number. So I want to make it absolute. Let's forget about these terms for now. Just put the dollar sign and then pick a capital $1. So I want it to go to, what this means is that I'll be taken to schools sheet and the cell A1 will be selected. So that's what it is. I'll click on OK. So you see, guys, I've been taken to schools and the selected range there is A1. The selected cell is cell A1. So that's how you use the go to change the view of the sheet. So how do I also achieve that using hyperlink? Great, guys. So okay, guys, just a moment. Okay, guys, I stopped the video for a second there. So I was talking about changing the view of the active sheet, right? Making some other sheet the active sheet. And that can be achieved using the hyperlink method. So how do I do that? The active sheet now is schools. I need to move to sheet 5, right? Just click on any, I need it placed somewhere, just somewhere in quote strategic or whatever. So I'm going to take M1, that is the cell located at the M1 intersection. I'll pick it and right click on cell M1. You find the options there, the menu. You move down till you find link. So I need to create hyperlink. So click on link. Clicking on link, you have this box pop up. What you need to do is click on place in this document. So click on place in this document. So you find text to display schools A1. That's not what I want. What text will user see, or you yourself, what text will you see? So I want something like click here to go to sheet 5. So that's the sheet I want it to go to. That's the text I will be seeing. And the reference. So type the cell reference. Let's say A1. Yeah, A1, the first. Okay, let me make this C3. You should go to C3. So it goes to sheet 5 and the cursor gets to be placed in sheet C3. That's what I'm actually saying there. So I now need to pick the sheet that will be seen. So that's sheet 5. I'll just pick sheet 5, and then OK. Just OK. Right. So that's it, guys. Let me make this bigger, or wider rather. So click here to go to sheet 5. So you see that I am on this sheet called schools. And once I click this hyperlink, I'll be taken to sheet 5, the cell C3. So I'll click on it, and you see that I'm now on sheet 5. You can see that has the white background, and the cell selected is cell C3. So that's how you use the hyperlink to change the view. So let's say you have different sheets, and you just want to have a control sheet that will have the hyperlinks to the different sheets you wish to work on. You can use the hyperlink. But I know that the hyperlink is also good for something like quizzes too. Oh, if the answer is correct, just go to this sheet that says, oh, congratulations, or go to this sheet that says, oops, you failed, something like that. That's another practical use of the hyperlink. Okay, so guys, that's that. And then finally, oh, one more thing, guys. Lest I forget, talking about changing the active sheet. There's this other method. I just would love to mention it. It's the watch method of changing or navigating to a different worksheet. I am going to use the formulas tab. Click on formulas. So I'm in sheet 5, click on formulas, and you will see the watch window icon. That places the destination sheet on the current sheet, if you get what I mean. So you can watch the sheet while you're working on the current document, and just by clicking on it, you'll be taken to that particular sheet. So it's there, it just remains there in the windows, right? It just remains there in the window rather. So I will click on watch window. This pops up, and so guys, please listen up. I'll add watch. So what do I need it to watch? Select, just provide the name of the sheet you want to have in view. So the sheet I want to have in view is schools, and the cell is maybe C3. Just put the dollar to make it absolute, the dollar sign C3, and then I would click add. So you see, guys, I'm on sheet 5, but I have in view the schools sheet, and that would be C3, cell C3. So if I click on it, double click rather, you have schools, right? So I'm now in schools, I'm on schools sheet. That's it. So I can just go back to the sheet 5 by just come right to the bottom and click sheet 5. So if I wish to go back to schools tab, I'll double click rather on the watch, what I have there in the watch area. So that's the cell that I wish to go to, the destination cell in the other sheet. Just double click on it, and you'll be taken to that sheet and that particular cell. So that's the watch window option of navigating, your workbook sheets, the worksheets rather. Okay, so guys, we're making progress. The last thing for this video I wish to talk about is the protect and unprotect sheets. Now, what's the use? I know there was a time a colleague approached me and she wanted to, okay, so at that time I didn't really know how to go about it, but I learned. So she wanted to have a cutoff point on a sheet. So after 20 entries, after the 20th row, nothing should be allowed, no input should be allowed. And so we can achieve that using the protect and unprotect sheet procedure. All right, so let's see, guys. I'm going to talk about protect and unprotect. So let me just get this off the watch window. Just get it off by clicking the X. Right, so what I want to do now, go to sheet. Let me go to names. Just move this one. The names, drag and drop it at the front. Then what I want, guys, is make it impossible for anyone to input anything on this sheet. So I'll just go to home first. Okay. So go to home. You can see that I can type in anything I want, type in anything in different cells. But I can disable input by protecting the sheets. And I can do that by going to, there are different ways, but no, I'll discuss those methods. Come to, names tab, name sheets. Click on that tab and you see protect sheets. If I pick protect sheets, I will be asked to pick a password. So let me just say the password is hi, H-I. That's the password. And okay, everything default. I'll be prompted to input the password again. The same hi, which is case sensitive, guys. And then click OK. You see that I or anyone else will be unable to input anything. This sheet is protected. Okay. So, but let's assume, guys, that I want a segment of it to be enabled for input, by inputting a password. So a range of cells should be editable after one has put in the correct password. How do I do that? So the rest of the other parts of the sheet will be uneditable, only the range selected. So I can edit that range by providing the password. Okay, so guys, first, let me now use the other method, another method to unhide the sheet. So I'll go to format, to unprotect rather, not unhide. Go to format and just click unprotect. So I'll be asked for the password to unprotect it, and I'll give hi, and this sheet the cells become editable once more. So this is what I want to do, guys. I'll go to review, and you can see under the review tab, I have this protect. Click on protect. Now, if this is wide enough, I think that you can actually just look at all of them at a glance. So protect sheets, protect workbook, allow edit range. So what I want to do here now, guys, is allow edit range. So I would say, for example, select just 20 rows with 10 columns, or 20 rows with 10 columns, right? Okay, so that's A1 to J20. That's the end cell. Remember, A1 is the first cell, and the last cell there, the intersection, is J20. So allow edit ranges. This brings up this box. It brings up this box. Then what I need to do now is to create new, and can give it any name, any title. So I'll just leave it at range 1. It could be anything. And you see that it automatically places the range with, in absolute format mode. So I'll provide a password. I'll say hi, for example, and okay. It will prompt me to input password again, hi, and that's it. So now it's not going to work yet until I protect the entire worksheet. So next I will do is, for protecting the worksheet now, which is different from the range. So the user will be prompted to provide password to edit the given range A1 to J20. But to unprotect the entire worksheet, I'll just say, maybe for the worksheet, hello, and to prompt me a second time, hello. Okay, so that's that. So let's see the effect, guys. You see, it's out of the range, so I can't even um, put any data. But if I come to the range within A1 to J20, so I'll take E4, for example. If I try to type in my name, Kene, it will say a cell you are trying to change is password protected. Enter the password to change this cell. So I can now say hi. So that's for the range 1. Once I provide the password, all the cells in the range become editable. So I can edit all within the range. So the last range, guys, remember, is J20. I mean, the last cell is J20. So I can edit that J20. But once I move out of that range to K20, you see that it's not possible to do anything there. So with this now, I can provide a document to users. Okay, once it gets to 20, for example, registration, students need to register as members of a club or something. So I can say once it gets to 20, no more, no student should be accepted in that club. So I can use this and provide the password for the range. Okay, so guys, what if the last thing I'll talk about in this video, first, let me just unprotect the sheet. Say hello, that's for the entire sheet. The password is hello. So the sheet now is editable. The cells are editable. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, guys, is making a range editable. That is, we don't even need to use any password for the range that is editable. But other parts of the sheet should not be editable. Only the range selected. How do I do that? You see, the one we just looked at is that, oh, fine, you can edit the cell, but you need to provide a password for the range to become editable. But what if I don't even need a password for the range that I have made editable? What do I do? Great. So, guys, what I'm going to do now, you see, every part of this sheet, every cell in this sheet is editable. So I'm going to select the range again, A1 to J20. Okay, and then right click on it. Right click and come down to format cells. So of all the options, choose format cells. Click on format cells and you see protection there. Okay, so click on protection, the menu, as part of the menu there, protection, and you find locked. So what I'm going to do is uncheck the locked so that it becomes unlocked. Unlock it. So it's unlocked. That's what this particular range is unlocked now. And okay. Now you see that nothing has happened. Nothing has happened. So for it to take effect, I now need to protect the sheet. I need to protect the sheet. That's the next thing that I need to do. So I would come back to the top here. This time, not selecting any range. So I can either pick the entire sheet just by clicking on this triangle just before the A. So that selects the entire sheet. And what do? I would click protect sheet and then provide the password hi for the entire sheet. But I need to do something before I click OK. Now it says allow all users of this worksheet to select unlocked cells. Remember that I unlocked cells A1 to J20. So users can select the cells within the range. So I need to uncheck that. Sorry guys. Yeah, so please, sorry guys. I need to click on select locked cells. So they can select the locked cells and then I can click OK. Hi again. All right. Oh no, no, guys, just a moment. I need to unprotect the sheets. Unprotect the sheet. This range is still unlocked, just to confirm that. Format cells, not locked, yeah, unlocked, and okay. Then I would go to protect sheet, give the password hi. So users can select unlocked cells. Yes, allow all users of this worksheet to select unlocked cells. So that's what it should be. They are able to do whatever they like, within the range that is unlocked. Okay, so not it. Okay, so I would provide the password, hi again, and voila. So you see, guys, that I am able to edit the range. But if I move out of the range, say M21, I can't do anything there. M21, nothing can be done. But if I move back within the range, I can. So that way, you are able to ensure that users have just a segment, a range within which they can input data, and out of that range, they are unable to do so. So I'll just take that one more time, just so that it is clear to us. I'll unprotect the entire sheet. Hi. Okay, guys, I lost my connection there. So I'm back. All right. So what I'm going to do now is to repeat the process. So first I need to unprotect the entire sheet. Provide, no, the sheet is already unprotected. Okay, so I'm going to repeat that. I want only the range A1 to J20, to be editable. Every other part should be uneditable. That's what I need. So I would come here, pick the range, just click on the first cell, hold down the right mouse, and drag and stop at J20, release. So let your hands go off. Then right click anywhere within the selected range and then go to format cells. Yeah, so my first explanation, I unlocked the range. So that's still unlocked. Without this, without unlocking, it will not work. Users will not be able to edit the cells there. So it's unlocked now, and then okay. The next thing I need to do, guys, is to protect the sheet, the entire sheet. Okay, so with this, I would say the password is high. It will come this way. This is what we'll see initially. Okay, so I'll share my screen again. I lost my connection once more. So, guys, as I was saying, you will have this as the default state. What I need to do is, because sometimes you try to uncheck the select unlocked cells, and it also takes off the select locked cells. So what you need to do, guys, is to take off the check mark for these protect worksheets and contents of locked cells. So take it off and then select unlocked cells, and then that's it. So please, before you click OK, make sure that you check the protect worksheet and contents of locked cells. What I'm trying to say is that these select locked cells. So as I was saying, users should be able to select or work with unlocked cells. So that's why it is checked, and then click OK. Oh, so I need to put the password high again, and that makes it possible. But once I go up the range, say 22 J22, I can't do anything there. All right, so that's the end, guys. So I hope we learned something. I would see you in my other videos. Just stay tuned. There's a lot to learn, in Excel. I wish you the very best. To have a great day.